First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Bakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Just right quick, I'm going to let this video play and I'm going to get some scriptures on it to see what it says. Trump and Netanyahu agreed to war with Iran. Okay, apparently this is February 12th, 2026, so 2 days ago. And this World War III thing is prophecy, man. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You know, it's so, I mean, hey, expect it soon. But listen up.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to war with Iran. The specific terms of this agreement is that if Iran is not reasonable and responsible, then Israel and the United States are going to war with Iran. This is reporting out of the New York Post. Ever since the beginning of the year, since the protests in Iran, the United States has been sending assets into the region. And it's been continuing to build up ever since then. In fact, a lot of geopolitical analysts, including myself, thought an attack may happen much sooner. Last week I said to expect escalatory actions by the middle of this week. This sure the hell sounds like a escalatory action to me. Keep an eye on the negotiations for the rest of this week. A window opens after the stock market closes. You see, if an attack happens when the stock market is open, the stock market will drop instantly. But if the stock market is closed and you attack, the stock market never goes down. In fact, if the attack is successful on Monday, the stock market will only go up. It will never go down. This has been a strategy tried and tested for as long as I can remember. So I'll be following this very closely. So drop a follow on TikTok, subscribe on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. I love you guys. Talk to you later.
Con. So I mean, like he said, you know, it's all about. Well, like I was saying, it's all about prophecy. Okay, and these things have to happen. You know, so it's just that time, and this World War III is going to be the war to end all wars. You know, see, this is the Lord stirring these people up, you know, to go to war. And eventually in that war, that's when Yahweh Shai intervenes, you know, and they start fighting each other to fight Yahweh Shai. But we're going to get into that. Let's go ahead and go into the scriptures. I'm going to start at Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat," which is Yahweh Shaphat, and it means Yahweh's judgment. It says, "And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Okay. And so this is the Lord. He's coming. He's basically coming to save his elect. He's gonna save his elect, and he's gonna destroy the remaining. You know, simple as that. Here in Babylon the Great. Okay. But all these nations have had a hand in our captivities. Okay. And all this, even right now, they have a hand in it. Okay, if you read, I think it's Psalm 81. Let's see. Psalm 83 and 5, it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They've opened the children of Lot, Selah." Okay, so all these different nations, have had a hand, in this captivity that we're in, and they all have played a role in some kind of way against us Israelites. Okay, and this is our final captivity, so the Lord is getting ready to do some work. Okay, because this Exodus is gonna top the Exodus from the time of Moses. Okay, coming out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me get that. I don't want to get off track here. I do want to get into I'm gonna get back into this. Jeremiah 16, verse 14 and 15 says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, which is America, Babylon the Great, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers." Okay, so the Lord is getting ready to come and deliver his elect, from the wrath of all these other nations, because like I said, they are all, we scattered amongst them all. Okay, mainly Edom. Edom is the main man in charge, this damn devil, but we've been scattered. And the Lord is getting ready to come deliver his elect, man. So very, very beautiful times to be alive, and again, I'm going to say all praises, honor, and glory is definitely due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai for proving his word to be faithful and true, man. Because look here, oh man, if this word wasn't true, then we would be 3, 4 through all the way done, man. There wouldn't be no hope, but the Lord has proven his word to be faithful and true. So we just got to hold on, brothers and sisters, because we ain't got much longer. Now, let me go back to the book of what I got, Joel, so now I'm going to get Zephaniah, chapter 3 and 8. It says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, said Yahweh, the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my glory." And as I was saying, we're going to read that next, that Yahweh Shai is going to return with the angels, and these people, all these different nations are going to be fighting each other, and they're going to stop fighting each other to fight Yahweh Shai and the angels, and the Lord gonna do some serious damage. Straight up, the Lord is getting ready to do some serious damage, man. And this ain't no joke, And see, this here is just the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying? Because now once they attack Iran, eventually China and Russia has to get involved. Now the war is not going to go nuclear until this CHIP is made mandatory. Okay, and that's the prophecy of Revelation 13 and 16 that has to be made mandatory before this war breaks out nuclear and Yahweh Shai comes. Okay, but if we can see how close we are, So you got to understand that we even just even closer to this MOTB. You know what I'm saying? That chip. So get ready, man. I mean, get ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay, if I'm saying that right. But let me get this Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. I think it's 12 and 7. Yeah, Revelation 12 and 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Okay, and that dragon that fought and his angels, that's these different militaries. Okay, from all these different nations. They come together. You know what I'm saying? They'll be fighting each other, but then they're gonna stop fighting each other to fight Yahweh Shah, and they will not prevail. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven, meaning they will no longer rule. Okay? They will no longer rule on earth. The kingdom won't be left to anyone else. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see how would that be worded. Let me see. Might have to do a Google search. Let's see if that's it. Daniel 2 and 44. Salakia for that. Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. Let's see, it says, and in these days of the kings shall God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. That's the kingdom of heaven. And see, that kingdom of heaven is going to come with this kingdom being destroyed. It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So these other kingdoms are being consumed, or about to be consumed. Okay? And the kingdom of heaven is going to last forever. The kingdom will no longer be left to these heathens. Therefore, this will be our last captivity. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. And the elect have learned the lesson, man. Golly. Whew. Like I said, beautiful times to be alive, man. But this is all coming down the pipe, man. This is where we are. You know, this is where we are. Second Ezra chapter 13. I'm gonna start here at the top. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. So this was Ezra's having a dream, a vision. It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. This is speaking of Yahweh Shai. That's that wind that came from the sea. You're going to see that in a second. And when he turned his countenance to look all the things trembled that were seen under him. Because everybody's gonna tremble at the brightness of his coming, man. They're gonna be amazed at it, and everybody gonna be scared. Like, what is this? You know. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. Man. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Okay, that's these other armies coming together, okay, to try to take down Yahushua. It says, verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That's his chariot, that fathership. It says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Because that chariot going to be so big, it's going to cover the whole earth. That's why the scriptures say, every eye shall see him. Okay? That chariot is that bridge. It be big. You can't see where it begins or where it ends. That's why it said he can tell where it was graven. You know? It's not going to see the beginning of it, where it ends, and it's going to literally cover the whole entire earth. Man, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. Yeah, they all gonna see the chariot. They gonna see how it shine. The angels, they gonna be like, oh man, but they still gonna fight. The Lord gonna put that spirit on them to fight. You know what I'm saying? And lo, verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And that's like the laser beams, you know, from these chariots. Okay? That's the laser beam that's going to be Yahushua ain't playing no game. He ain't playing no games, man. And that time is coming. That time is going to be here soon. Okay? So this is music to our ears when we hear things like this, man. And we just ready for Esau to quit kicking the can down the road and just go in and get it over with. You know? But I'm going to play this one more time, and that's going to be it.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to war with Iran. The specific terms of this agreement is that if Iran is not reasonable and responsible, then Israel and the United States are going to war with Iran. This is reporting out of the New York Post. Ever since the beginning of the year, since the protests in Iran, the United States has been sending assets into the region. And it's been continuing to build up ever since then. In fact, a lot of geopolitical analysts, including myself, thought an attack may happen much sooner. Last week I said to expect escalatory actions by the middle of this week. This sure the hell sounds like a escalatory action to me. Keep an eye on the negotiations for the rest of this week. A window opens after this.
And whether they attack or not right now, best believe they will eventually. Right now, I will say that America knows that they got to play it smart, because Iran really ain't to be fucked with right now. You know what I'm saying? And not they got some strong military might, and not only that, they are allies with Russia and China. You know what I'm saying? So eventually, I mean, like I said, they have to play it smart. You know what I'm saying? They know they ain't ready for this just yet, because they know it's going to bring about World War III. Okay, but the Lord going to put the spirit on this man to eventually move. And we know that time going to be soon. Okay? We know that time going to be soon.
Stock market closes. You see, if an attack happens when the stock market is open, the stock market will drop instantly. But if the stock market is closed and you attack, the stock market never goes down. In fact, if the attack is successful, on Monday, the stock market will only go up, it will never go down.
And that's another thing I just thought about. That's still part of the financial collapse. See, all roads lead to the MOTB. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that prophecy right quick, because all roads lead to this. Even this whole war, all of it will lead to that. Because when the stock market collapses, all that's gonna lead to a financial collapse, which just means for them to bring in this Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That's that chip in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, and this is coming, man. Okay, this is coming. Okay, and when you take that, this is you pledging your allegiance to this beast system. This now you worship this beast system. You no longer worship. You have nothing to do with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and you can't repent from this. Okay, that's why it's very crucial that you get this prophecy and understand what it is, what it means, and understand the times you're in, man. This is deadly serious. And we are in that time for all these things to happen. Okay?
Day, the stock market will only go up, it will never go down. This has been a strategy tried and tested for as long as I can remember. So I'll be following this very closely. So drop a follow on TikTok, subscribe on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to war with Iran.
Yeah, so I'm gonna end it right there. You know, you see it happen. You know, like I say, beautiful times we're living in. To see these prophecies moving the way that they are. And the water Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua for proving your word to be faithful and true. The water for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Okay. All praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakakwadash. Hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Until the next time, Shalom.